Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally. Today we're talking about sweet summer fruit. I have joined this collab with Ellie from DIY from House to Home. I will put her information and a playlist in the description box for you to check out once you have enjoyed this video. I started by adding barn board scrapbook paper that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby, and that's about as far as I had gotten. I put it away, and so today I'm going to complete it. Starting with some little wooden egg cups that I found at my dump. I thought that these little egg cups would make fantastic feet for this little picture frame to turn it into a riser. So the first thing I did was to just go ahead and hot glue all four on to the bottom, and then I pulled out my redesigned transfer called Sweet Apricot. I had gotten at 60% off when one of the local crafters was going out of business, and I really love this. It is just a beautiful bunch of different fruits, and I have used a couple in the past, and so when we decided to do this fruit challenge, I thought this would be a perfect one to pull out. And in this case, I am simply laying down one full sheet. And I just went ahead with the stick provided and just transferred that on by rubbing that transfer sheet and then peeling it back slowly. When you do this transfer on paper, it works really well. It sticks very easily, and it is one of the easiest things to transfer on, and especially since I'm using a flat surface. So that was very simple. I put that on, peeled that off, burnished it down with the plastic in my hand, and then I just went ahead and I took some of the antiquing wax, the dark antiquing wax, and just added that mostly around the edges to get that dark and kind of vintage looking, and then a little bit over some of the rest of the transfer a little lightly. I like that look. You certainly don't have to use that antiquing wax if you don't like that look, but anything more vintage works for me. So then once that was complete, then the feet obviously were still pine. So I just took some of the black Waverly chalk paint and just went ahead and painted those feet so that they would match the rest of the tray and the riser, and that was pretty much all there was to this. I could have added handles. I didn't have anything in my stash that really felt like it would go, but if I do get some, I may add some to the sides of this at some point in the future. So let me know what you think of that. Item number 2 is a picture frame I had picked up at Hobby Lobby. I sanded the letters off, and then I printed out some strawberries from the Graphics Fairy onto rice paper, and then I just went ahead and fussy cut all around that so that I would be able to have a lot less of the white showing for this. And then once I got all of the ones that I wanted cut out, I just went ahead and used some Mod Podge to decoupage those down onto the picture frame to begin with. And then I just took some Waverly black paint and a stencil that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I just used the words. I taped off the part that I didn't want, and I just had to move the stencil around just so that I could get the words on the top to the top of it, and then move the whole thing down, tape it off again, and stencil the rest of the words on the bottom, and then peel that all away. And I like the way that decoupaged, and I think that that came out very sweet, no pun intended. And then I have this rolling pin. I had gotten this either at my dump for free or I paid $1 for it. I have a couple of them. And I am taking again the same sweet apricot, and I am using a different one, and I am cutting off the words so that I can use the words for a project in the future, because the rest of that will fit the rolling pin almost exactly around just using that cherry. And I love the colors in this, and I love that little cherry, as well as the fact that it is on kind of a script So I just laid that on, and it's a little harder to transfer on a round surface like a rolling pin. So I left some of the backing on and just slowly adhered that little by little by little as I tore some of the back off, rolled it, and then just continued all the way until I had it on and then burnished it down. And then I just took some of my linen chalk paint and painted both of the handles. It really matched well with this transfer. And then once those were dry, I took just a little sand block and sanded back a little bit of that just so that I would have that back to the wood look a little bit more vintage. And then for me, this was still just a little bit too new looking. I like things to be a little bit more vintage, so at this point you could stop if you don't. But I just went ahead with that dark wax mixed with clear wax and waxed over the whole thing so that I would have that very vintage look. This was a rolling pin that I knew would never be used for food, so I was able to just go ahead and wax over that, and it protects the paint as well as the transfer and also gave that wood a good drink of water. So that is how that came out, and I love it. So I would love to know which of these three were your favorite today, and if this inspired you to do any of this transferring either on something round or flat. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.